Today I'm going for 100% completion and the Platinum Trophy in one of the greatest games of the PS3 era, Fallout 3. Being someone that loves the Fallout games, I'm very excited to dive into the game that got me into the franchise. There are 73 trophies between the base game and all 5 DLCs, and earning all of them will include me doing things like completing the main story, reaching level 30 with all karma types, and collecting every bobblehead the Wasteland has to offer. Waking up for the first time in Fallout 3, I see my father James, a scientist in Vault 101. Fast forward 10 years later, it's my 10th birthday party and the trophy hunt officially kicks off as I'm gifted my very own Pip-Boy 3000.
Enjoy your party. You're only 10 once, so have fun.
That's true. I am only 10 once. I've almost been 10 3 times. Vault 101 Citizenship Award. First one off the board. Let's go. Fast forwarding 6 years, it was time to take the test that would determine the rest of my life in this vault, the GOAT test.
It says here you're perfectly suited for a career as
a waste management specialist. I'm a janitor? Damn, that's crazy.
Not just a dabbler.
The Goat Whisperer. Bah! After a quick flash, we're woken up by Amada who tells us that Dad has left the vault and it's time for us to go too because everyone thinks it's our fault. I did manage to hack my first terminal during this time, getting me started on the data miner trophy that'll take quite some time to get done. So this is what the world looks like after everyone dies. Just, it's beautiful. I couldn't imagine it being any prettier, truthfully. Quest completed, Escape, and we leveled up. And we earned the trophy for it. 3 quickly out of the way. The other 70 won't be that quick. Normally during a 100% playthrough like this, I would save the DLC for after the story, but there was an item I really needed to make this grind significantly easier. The Brotherhood of Steel are attempting to unlock an armory that could contain advanced combat gear, but the only way to do that is by surviving a VR simulation, and the only way to enter it is via a computer interface like my Pip-Boy. As soon as I entered the simulation, I got my first trophy of the 4, and came face to face with the Chinese Red Army, and my only goal was to kill them all. For the guns of Anchorage, I had to kill every enemy I came across in order to eventually get to and destroy 3 Chinese artillery guns. Paving the way had 2 objectives for me to complete before launching the final attack. First, I had to destroy the fuel tanks at the enemy Chimera Depot, and next up was securing the Chinese listening outpost. It was now time for the final mission. I had to go through and disable the pulse field before launching the full attack against the Chinese General Jingwei, but naturally, the game froze here and I had to do it all over again. Just to throw this out there since we're early in the video, my game crashed 59 times on the PS3 while working on this platinum. With the winterized power armor officially in my possession, Operation Anchorage was done and it was time to go level up to level 8 3 different times. I also grabbed the Psychotic Prankster trophy during this time for putting a grenade in somebody's pocket while pickpocketing, but apparently I wasn't recording, so sorry. After leveling up a couple more times, I went into the second DLC, Mothership Zeta. If you're like me, this is far and away your least favorite of the Fallout 3 DLCs, so we're gonna hate this section together. After being abducted by the most annoying aliens in existence, our cellmate Soma suggests that we start a fight to get the guards' attention, and it works like a charm. As soon as those idiots were handled, I started the only missable trophy in Mothership Zeta called Alien Archivist. This was single-handedly the worst trophy of this entire challenge for me, and you'll learn why pretty shortly. I proceeded through the ship, destroying it and making my way to the ship's core where I found some new friends and earned the first trophy of this DLC. Among the stars called for me to use the aid of the prisoners I just freed to destroy the generators spread throughout the ship. The first one was in the robot assembly with Soma, then the cryo lab with Elliot where I kinda pissed him off by killing his friends. Just die, come on.
What the hell did you do that for?
Oh, he didn't like that.
To save them. What?
And finally, the hangar bay, accompanied by our resident redneck Paulson. I also killed my 300th creature while in there, and I don't know what it was about these DLCs and me forgetting to record, but I barely got this trophy being on the screen for this one. With the generators now destroyed, I became a real spaceman and finished the mission by getting everyone to the upper level of the ship, or at least I would've if the game didn't bug out on me and cause me to replay it. Also, right here is the reason I had to start the Alien Archivist trophy over, because I didn't save my game for like a while, so I had to do it again. And don't worry, somehow I managed to mess it up even more. You'll see. The final mission, This Galaxy Ain't Big Enough, saw the gang and I pushing our way through the ship and destroying the death ray that was pointed at Earth. Obviously, the little alien leader wasn't happy about that, but he's dead now, so really, who cares? Before we could get off the ship and go back to Earth, another ship decided they were going to attack us, and I turned into Captain Kirk as we blew those bastards out of the sky. Just keep hitting it. Fire control. I can't. It won't let me do it. The fuck was that? Okay, come on. One hit.
Shields and Elliot are down.
Dear God, come on.
70%.
Come on.
We need to end this fast.
I'm hitting the button.
This ship's half dead. And if that death ray isn't
It just said
on
wasn't
our
ready,
ship,
and then it worked.
dead right along with you. I got something special for you.
I did it. This galaxy ain't big enough for the two of us. Well, there's only one now. It was now that I realized I was missing a few archives after the mishap before starting this mission, so I had to go back to the very beginning of the ship to grab the first 3. Or technically the final 3 in this case. Finally off the mothership, I leveled up to 14 with all 3 karmas to add 3 more trophies to my total. And since I was already in position to handle the side quest Big Trouble in Big Town, I freed Red from the cell and returned to Big Town to help them fight off a super mutant invasion. From there, I finally started to move forward in the story by heading to Megaton, where I spoke to Colin Moriarty for some information about my dad, but I didn't have the caps needed to get it. I went outside so I could sell some of the gems I took from Mothership Zeta and ran into Lucy West, who gave me the mission Blood Ties. I decided to go right for that one since I remembered it being a pretty interesting side mission, and I'm glad I did. Lucy's brother Ian has been taken in by a group called the Family, and basically these idiots think they're vampires. Trying to find information on Ian and the family's lair proved to be a mistake, so instead I just went up and talked to the kid and he decided to go back home to Arafu. Now that I had enough caps, I went back to Colin Moriarty and he told me Dad went to Galaxy News Radio, and on the way there I made a quick stop to discover Rivet City since I knew I'd be going there a lot down the line. After finding Rivet City, I focused on the mission following in his footsteps, which saw me tag up with the Brotherhood of Steel on the way to Galaxy News Radio. It also saw me match up for the first time against a super mutant behemoth, which is never a fun time. Oh, come on. Just die. Just die. Just die. Just die. Retrieve the fat man. Okay. I'll try to get it. Killing the behemoth did start me on the path to a future trophy, the bigger they are, which requires me to kill all 5 of the behemoths in the wasteland. Inside the GNR building, I spoke to 3 Dog, the station's DJ, about the whereabouts of dear old dad, and instead of just giving me the information, he needed me to run some errands for him. On the way to finishing those errands, I ended up finding an ammo box in an underground tunnel after killing some ghouls, and it happened to be the 50th lock I've successfully picked. First, I had to find the Museum of Technology and steal the relay dish from the lunar lander, and then I had to make it to the top of the Washington Monument to repair the radio relay dish, so that way 3 Dog can broadcast his messages to a wider audience.
Before I get back to my calling, I bet you want to hear about your dad.
Yeah, that'd be fucking nice, 3 Dog. I'm happy I don't have to talk to that guy again. Galaxy News Radio, you have earned a trophy. Yes, I have. Another one in the books. Since I was a pretty decent level by this point, I chose to take on Point Lookout and all it had to offer. It didn't take long for the locals to welcome me to their home either. What is that guy? Oh no. Get something out, get something out. Give me, yeah, sidearm. Come on. What the, is that Sloth from the Goonies? Hello? Hey, you guys, kill this damn thing. Gauze rifle will work. Come on. Nice. I love this gun, but I hate how long it takes to shoot. Come on. There we go. What the hell is this? This thing really looks like Sloth from the Goonies. That's crazy, bro. Making my way to the mansion atop the hill, I assisted a ghoul called Desmond in killing some of the local tribals attacking his place, saving him from certain death. The guy was a dick, but he offered to make me rich, and he gave me another trophy. He also gave me a job taking down the tribe from within, kicking off the mission Walking with Spirits. It's already pretty obvious these people are insane, but boy oh boy do they somehow get even crazier real quick. I was sent to a place called the Bog where I had to fight through a horde of mirelurks until I eventually found a wild punga fruit tree and ate from it. That shit took me out so quick, causing me to hallucinate as I was trying to get back out of the swamp, seeing life-size bobbleheads on my path back. Eventually, I made it back to their stronghold and finished the mission. I found out pretty quickly from a woman called Nadine, who was actually the reason I was sent to Point Lookout in the first place, that they removed part of my brain and that I'm one of the lucky ones who can still function after the surgery. She agreed to help me find the leader of the tribals, and I told Desmond about that, but he didn't care until I actually found the guy. I then stumbled upon the lighthouse just below Desmond's mansion, which happened to be the final location for me to find in the DLC, grabbing another trophy. I eventually found the leader and discovered that he was actually just a pawn in a much larger game of chess. Desmond's rival was a man called Professor Calvert, who's still alive today as a brain. Once Desmond realized it was him, he was rightfully agitated and sent me to place a cogwave jammer on the nearby Ferris wheel, so that way Calvert can't control people anymore. The mansion then blew up, but Desmond survived and we went to confront and kill the brain. Come on. Why is this taking so long? Finally, goodness. The brain's still floating. Ha! Float up. Bye-bye. GG's, brain bitch. A meeting of the minds. That's done.
The world is rid of.
Leaving Point Lookout, I found out that the ferryman who brought me to the DLC was the one who performed my brain surgery, so I returned the favor and got my brain back, but unfortunately it served no purpose other than just being brain in my inventory. Alright, ticket, hat, magnum. Punga fruits, batteries. What the hell are those? Other brains? Okay, I can't. What is this? A familiar piece of brain. I'm just gonna take it. I got my brain back. Can I do anything? No, I can't. In case you haven't caught on, every time I come out of a DLC, I'm pretty close to hitting another level goal for 3 trophies, and this time was no different as I decided to terrorize 10-penny towers just for funsies.
I'm off duty.
I also killed my 300th person during this point, and we all know I won't complain about adding another trophy. Something to note about the rich folks living in 10-penny towers is that they're extremely racist towards ghouls, but there's a fella nearby called Roy Phillips who wants somewhere for he and his sophisticated ghoul people to live comfortably. After promising to help him and convincing 10-penny they would be great neighbors, I was told to convince the people living in the towers. Some were all for it while others weren't in the end, but I did keep my promise as Roy and his people moved into the place. Continuing to explore in the wasteland, I came across my 100th location to earn another trophy, but this wasn't any ordinary place as Evergreen Mills was home to one of the 5 super mutant behemoths I needed to kill in the game. I ended up leaving it alone for now because I was on my way to Rivet City and Dr. Lee. After pretty easily confusing the guard and being let right in, I talked to Dr. Lee, who knew exactly who I was and why I was in Rivet City. She told me that Dad went to do more work on Project Purity, a huge project they abandoned many years ago. So I was going to head there next until I noticed an old man in the corner of the lab. Earlier in the game, when naturally I wasn't recording, someone gave me a part to an android and said to leave the android alone, so when Zimmer asked about the android, all I had to do was hand over the part and that was that. Super anticlimactic, I know, but we got it.
The wastewater in the hydroponic garden.
I don't know what hit me at this point, but all of a sudden I realized I hadn't yet done or even started the Wasteland Survival Guide, so now felt like the right time to go and get it done. I got this mission from Moira Brown in Megaton as she loves the idea of having a Vault Dweller's unique perspective on life and survival in the wastes. The Wasteland Survival Guide is a 3-chapter book with 3 key points within each chapter, totaling 9 missions to complete the overall mission and earn the trophy. You can do yourself a favor if your speech skill is high enough and simply lie to Moira about some of your findings or really lack thereof, and basically skip parts of this mission or keep certain items to yourself instead of giving them to her. Some of the quests are genuinely tough, like trying to sneak by all of these mirelurks without killing any of them in order to plant an observation device so she can figure out how they operate their colonies. After doing all 9 of these missions and finishing every single one of her tasks, the trophy was as good as mine. So with that done and my survival skills sharpened, it was time to finally finish the story. Inside the Jefferson Memorial, I found Project Purity, and Dad left a holotape saying that he was going to Vault 112. Once I made it to 112 though, I immediately found out that there was some weird shit going on down there. Jumping into a pod sent me into a place straight out of the 1950s where everything was black and white and the people had names like Rockwell.
Oh, hello there. I think you should go speak with Betty.
A young girl named Betty was giving me really messed up tasks to do, like causing a divorce between two people, but that's because Betty was actually an old-ass scientist called Dr. Stanislaus Brown, who, in a world where he could be anything, he made this whole thing. He could be whatever he wanted. He chose to be a little girl because he's a weirdo. Old Lady Dithers slipped up and mentioned a failsafe protocol being in the abandoned house, so I went in and ended up playing the right tune to activate it. I probably could have found a safer option, but sending in the Chinese army to kill everyone just felt right. They weren't going to be normal after this experience. They were in a simulation being controlled by a man who was pretending to be a girl. They were better off dead. It's fine. The best part about this whole thing was that Dr. Braun would be stuck in the simulation forever and alone with everyone else dead. I also found out, even after having activated the failsafe protocol, that I couldn't assert my dominance in the simulation.
Here. And now
Because I punched you? Now that dear old Dad was saved, it was time to find an item called the Gek.
Be careful, my son.
Dad, Dr. Lee, and their friends made it safely to Project Purity and needed me to put some things into motion for them to conduct their experiments, but unfortunately, once I did that, the Enclave showed up and all hell broke loose.
In charge is to step forward immediately and turn over all materials related to this project.
That's quite impossible.
There's gotta be a way I can get him out, right?
There's no authority here. Okay? I have to ask you to leave at once.
Am I to assume, sir, that you are in charge?
Dad! Father!
Run.
Papa!
Run.
Run! No, I don't want to run, Dad. I spent all this time finding you after I left the vault. Ew, that was the sound that feral ghouls make. Escaping with Dr. Lee and company to the Brotherhood of Steel compound, ended up finishing the Waters of Life quest, and got me acclimated with the higher-ups of the group, who decided I should finish my father's research and find the Gek located in Vault 87. To get there, I had to travel through Little Lamplight and kill an absurd amount of super mutants, all to find a highly intelligent mutant called Fox. Just a note for anyone who may decide to play Fallout 3 after this video, in a lot of cases you can cancel a choice from inside the terminals, but if you accidentally decide to, I don't know, disintegrate Fox, it won't let you cancel it. Okay. I thought if I clicked something it would... With Fox good and alive, he went in and retrieved the Gek for me in the irradiated hallways, and it was time to escape. Excuse me? Ha ha ha. Thought you guys were dead. Super not great. Hey! Isn't the guy that was in the thing with Dad?
Make sure the Gek
Did he
is
not
secured
also
by
die?
my vertibird.
Yes, sir. I'll have the techs come down and remove it immediately, sir.
You're certain he's
You know
unharmed?
what?
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't think about it. He
And
stabbed
sure
himself
that
with
we can
something
revive him.
before they all
Prepare him for
died.
transport immediately.
Wow.
Right away, sir.
The leader of the Enclave is called President Eden, and he allows us to leave his cell so we can have a face-to-face meeting. So while I technically didn't have to fight the Enclave here at first, I chose to kill every last one of them instead. The face-to-face with the President didn't exactly go as expected because not only did I find out that he was actually a computer, but I also convinced President Eden to kill himself and destroy the entire Enclave army too.
That much will be up to you. I suppose, then, that this is goodbye. You'll have to...
This is goodbye. Yeah, peace out, dude. I think this is one of my favorite things in the game, is just watching all of the Enclave just explode and die. I think it's just one of the best. Come on, Fox. It was now time to finally finish Project Purity and put all of the remaining Enclave soldiers in the dirt. The Brotherhood launched known cousin of Optimus, Liberty Prime. Just another small piece of advice here, don't get too far in front of that robot. I feel like... That's not... Did Liberty Prime just kill me? After putting in the launch codes, Project Purity was officially in use and the Wasteland was saved. Kinda. By this point I still had a lot to do, but not a lot to do at the same time, if that makes any sense. It was time to see the rest of what the Wasteland had to offer, so let's dive into it. I found young Brian Wilkes a place to live after saving him from the giant fire ants, sending him to Little Lamplight so he could be with kids like him. Then I returned home to Vault 101 after hearing a message for help from Amada, and after convincing her father that he was, in fact, an asshole, he handed over the title of Overseer to his daughter. Then what happened next shocked me to my core. She kicked me out of the vault, forever, after helping them, again. Goodbye, Vault 101, round 2. I can't believe that they're just like, no, piss off and never come back. That's so crazy. Trouble on the home front. Needing some time to reflect after being kicked out of my childhood home for a second time, I took a bit to explore the waste some more and found some bobbleheads. They did a great job hiding these in places nobody would look, like Yaogwai caves, and in tunnels surrounded by ghouls, and my personal favorite, next to a dead guy. My quest for the 10th bobblehead took me to Paradise Falls, which is actually a place where they enslave people, so the name is pretty misleading. Speaking to their leader, Eulogy Jones, I purchased a few young kids and immediately released them so they could return home to Little Lamplight. But don't look at me like I'm some kind of good guy, like I'm some kind of hero right now, because immediately after that, I became an actual slave trader so I could get another trophy. I had to go get Flack from Rivet City and make him a slave, and oh, you remember Red, the person I saved earlier from that jail cell and then sent back home to Big Town? Yep, enslaved her. Thankfully that was it, and I could leave Paradise Falls and hopefully redeem myself for what I just did. I finally hacked my 50th terminal and then decided to full send it to my favorite DLC in Fallout 3, the Pitt. I love this DLC for 2 reasons. 1, because it's badass, and 2, because Pittsburgh is my hometown, so I am a bit biased.
You thought you could kill my buddies at the gate, and we just let you walk in here?
Starting out the DLC, I was sent to do a job in the steel yard, which leads to probably the single most grindy trophy in the entire game. To earn Mill Worker, I had to collect 100 steel ingots, and you might be thinking, oh, Trap, that sounds easy. They're probably all over the place. While you'd be kinda right, these 100 ingots are all of the ingots in the DLC, and they're shoved in some super obscure places throughout it, so it's not like you're just gonna be walking along the beaten path and find all of them. Not to mention being attacked by mutated troglodytes and wild men the entire time you're searching for these ingots, this can get pretty annoying pretty quickly. The good news is, once you give this guy all 100 of the steel ingots, you do get some pretty nice stuff. Alright, give him all that stuff. Can't find any more.
Guess you got every last one out.
Yes.
There. You're one hell of a
He called me a stealer because it's Pittsburgh. I get it. Yeah, deuces, brother.
Keep bringing in metal.
Keep bringing in metal. I mean, I would if there was more to bring in, but you just said it's literally all of it. Where's my trophy? There's nothing else. Where's mine? There it is. Mill Worker. Yes, sir. The Pitt's leader was a guy called Asher, and he decided to get everyone together to announce that they're now accepting entrance into the arena, and I was the lucky SOB volunteered to enter. Because I have a bit of a bloodlust, if you haven't caught on, I was here for it though, and pretty casually ripped through every opponent to gain the respect and fear of everyone else in the pit. Doing this also finished the unsafe working conditions quest as well. It was time for me to go to meet Asher, and like clockwork, as soon as I got to him, my game was bugged and I straight up couldn't talk to the guy. After a bit of being frustrated and nothing I tried fixing the bug, I did what I always do and murdered everyone. Oh, I also kidnapped a baby who's supposedly the cure to saving everyone in the pit, and somehow managed to not let the kid die while being attacked and literally setting people and myself on fire on the way back to the good guys. I shut down the power to Uptown, allowing it to be overrun by trogs, and officially was done with the pit. Werner.
Nice work, pal. When I saw those lights go down, I swear I heard the trogs.
They probably were. Free labor. Back in the Wasteland, I went to Megaton and found my last bobblehead, then decided for once to not kill everybody and disarmed the nuke in the middle of town. I then met Agatha after finding her house, and she sent me on a mission to find an old-timey violin inside of Vault 92. This vault wasn't too much of a headache, just stuffed with mirelurks, which are pretty typical by this point, so I grabbed the violin pretty easily and took it back to Agatha. Oh boy, things got weird again after that, as I met up with a man called Tree Father Birch. He and his band of crackpots think that a man lives inside a tree and is a god. Oh god.
Glad to see you're finally awake.
You look terrible,
Can't
man.
believe they made you do that stupid ceremony.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb, but
They listen.
yeah.
Neither have I. You kept growing around me. Maybe for calling him Herbert all
What?
the time.
The tree is called Bob, and the man stuck inside the tree is actually a dude called Harold, and Harold, as you may guess, has a pretty miserable existence and wants to die, but the idiots worshiping him don't actually listen to him when he says that. I decided to put Harold out of his misery and move on from this weird-ass place. Thankfully, Tree Father Birch realized that he was just a really bad listener. Continuing my travels, I discovered the post-apocalyptic version of Ant-Man and Iron Man when discovering a feud between the Antagonizer and the Mechanist. The people of Canterbury Commons were sick of these two coming in and playing hero and villain with each other, so they sent me to convince both of them that playtime was over. Mechanist actually ended up being a pretty reasonable dude and stepped down from the helm when I told him that people didn't like him, but the Antagonizer was a different story. This bitch was actually nuts and hates humans, so I had to squash her like the bug that she was. Just as we have our Coke and Pepsi in real life, the people of Fallout 3's Wasteland have their own soda pop alternative called Nuka-Cola. Sierra Petrovita is obsessed with the stuff to the point where she turned her own home into a museum for it. After showing me around the museum, she asked that I bring back 30 bottles of Nuka-Cola Quantum, and good news for me, I already had it. I walked outside to talk to her very jealous friend that's clearly trying and failing miserably to sleep with her, and turned right back around to give her the quantum and finish the challenge. Entering the Temple of the Union, I met Hannibal, a former slave who wants he and his people to have somewhere to call their own. He asks me to clear out the Lincoln Memorial for them, so I made my way there, and at first I ran into the slavers there, but it seemed like they were gonna let me talk to their leader until... What the hell did you guys shoot me for? Just fuck off. Okay. With the slavers dead, I let Hannibal know, and he and his people were happy to move in. While still in the area, I went inside a nearby building and discovered a group of ghouls living in what they called the underground. Eventually, after meeting the ghouls, I found one called Mr. Crowley, and he wanted me to take care of some former accomplices for him. In the sickbay before leaving the underground, I found Dr. Barrows and an unconscious girl laying on one of the beds that was apparently alone because she lost her friends. I managed to pass my 50th speech check here so the doctor could wake her up and I could try to help her find her friends. Crowley put this hit out on Alistair Tenpenny, who was already killed by the ghouls that moved into Tenpenny Tower, Dave in the Republic of Dave, Ted Strayer in Rivet City, and Dukov living in Dukov's place.
I have a trip to plan.
With a few daunting fights still ahead of me, I built every custom weapon at my workbench to make sure I was ready, and I was lucky I did, because things really got insane after that. A Deathclaw. 2 Deathclaws. What the fuck? No. No. Just keep shooting. Keep shooting. We're good. We're good. I don't know why it turned to run away, but we're good. Come on. Die. 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 Okay. Did they kill each other? No! Realizing that I only had one behemoth left to kill, I went and found it with my trusty missile launcher. Alright, come on. One more should do it. And it does it. It does it. GG, you big ugly bastards. Teabag, motherfucker. Hold my nuts. The bigger they are. By this point, I only had a couple things left to do, mainly finishing the Broken Steel DLC by helping the Brotherhood of Steel officially wipe out the Enclave. We suffered a huge loss with the defeat of Liberty Prime, but me, a little old vault dweller, managed to keep everything at bay. After getting the data to scribe Rothschild, I realized that I was officially at level 29, meaning that I had to make a save here so that way I could easily come back in order to get the 3 level 30 trophies. The next trophy was for completing the mission's shock value. After fighting through at least a dozen death claws, I eventually came to a room with a Tesla coil, an item needed to make my favorite weapon in the game. With it in my inventory, I took it back to the base and popped the trophy. It was finally time to end this battle with the Enclave once and for all, as I started Who Dares Wins. Making my way through and out of the metro station, I was greeted by a crate with some orders and the Tesla cannon hidden inside. Quickly putting my new piece into action, I hit my first level 30 milestone, and I had an absolute blast using this thing to destroy as many Enclave soldiers as possible. Especially after I used the terminal to get into their base of operations, I went crazy with this thing. However, as with every other DLC in this game, I encountered a game-crashing bug at a big moment. What the fuck just happened? Seriously? Again. Seriously. After I finally made it in and launched the missiles on top of the Enclave base, it was time to sit back and enjoy the show. It's so beautiful. So much destruction. So much death. So many dead Enclave members. Who Dares Wins? I dare. After getting to level 32 more times, it was time to head back to Rivet City. While I was there, I spoke to a guy called Abraham Washington, aka the most American person in history, and he wanted me to steal the Declaration of Independence. I feel like I've heard that story somewhere before, but nonetheless, I agreed to it. I returned to Rivet City and not only gave Abraham the Declaration of Independence, but also the Bill of Rights for some extra caps, and our time together was done. With one final quest standing between me and 100% completion, I set out to find Riley's Rangers. Knowing that they were on top of the Statesman Hotel, I fought through waves of super mutants in the Our Lady of Hope Hospital, then more in the hotel itself before finally finding them on the roof. Killing all of the remaining mutants was easy with a group of Rangers by my side, and we safely made it back to Riley. I bet it was. Frankly, I'm amazed you made it. Yeah, you know what, Riley? Me too. Me too. You really need a full debrief?
I'm very impressed at your skill.
I'm kind of the greatest of all time.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but at least so.
I do like a minigun.
I guess that does it. See you around, kid.
Yeah, see you around, kid. Goodbye. Completed Riley's Rangers. Trophy, Riley's Rangers. And platinum trophy earned. Oh, good God, Fallout 3, you took so long. I loved it. I loved it a lot.
Back from splattering more muties?
More Fallout in the future. Like and subscribe. Bye.